Welcome back to the Accounting Podcast. I'm Blake Oliver.
And I'm David Leary.
In today's episode, we're diving into the world of nearshoring. Nearshoring offers compelling benefits like cost savings and access to skilled professionals, but it also comes with challenges around communication, cultural differences, and remote collaboration. To help us navigate this topic, we're joined today by Nicolás Villafañe, partner at South Offices, a company that connects U.S. businesses with accounting and finance talent in Argentina. In this episode, Nicolás is going to share his insights with us on the advantages of nearshoring in Argentina, overcoming common obstacles, and what to look for in a nearshoring partner. And we'll also discuss how Argentina compares to other popular nearshoring destinations. Nicolás, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Oliver.
So let's start with this whole concept of nearshoring versus offshoring, which is the term that I hear a lot, or outsourcing. And when we think of offshoring, we think of typically in the U.S., Philippines and India. Those are the two countries where accounting and finance work gets sent. But with nearshoring, we're not going that far. We're going down to South America where you are. So let's talk about the differences. What are the big differences between offshoring and nearshoring?
So there's three main places that you go when offshoring or nearshoring. As you mentioned, it's India, Philippines, or South America. I think that the main difference, or the first that you're going to think about, is time zone. Time zone is a very, very huge challenge when working with Philippines or India.
Mm-hmm.
In South America, you're mostly aligned. I mean, you can actually have people working on their daytime at the exact same time as Americans. So that's a big advantage. Also, you have the cultural differences. Latin America is closer in terms of culture to the US. I mean, anyone that has tried working with India or Philippines knows that. That's a big thing that comes up any time that we have interviews with potential customers. They always mention that if they had experience, that was an issue. But I think that the main difference is actually time zone. If you work with Philippines, you're probably gonna have people working on your nighttime. So working asynchronically is hard. It's hard to coordinate. And at some times, maybe you are able to find people that actually want to work or say that they want to work at the same time that you're awake. But most of the times they're just taking the job that they find. So whenever they can find actually a job that allows them to have a normal life and work on their daytime, they're just gonna move on. So rotation is an issue on those cases.
Interesting.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's all right. So you can, because it's the same time zone. What is the time zone in Argentina?
Right now is, this is recorded, but it's 1 hour ahead of Eastern time. That's the difference.
Got it. So very close.
Yes.
If your firm's on the East Coast,
it's almost totally aligned. Yeah.
Got it. So we are on Pacific time right now, David and me. So you'd be 4 hours ahead.
That's it. Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
So the other issue that, again, it pops up a lot when I'm interviewing people is that India usually sells outsourcing, not so much like offshoring. It's outsourcing. They sell you the whole package. So you just send work to be done, and work comes already done by them, and the quality tends to be an issue on that. But on their side, their prices are amazing. I mean, if you just want to cut costs, the most you can cut is India. I mean, India is the cheaper way you can go. Of course, quality issues, time zone, but it's super cheap. And then Philippines comes after India. The quality is better, but still you have time zone issues and cultural differences. And Latin America is not so cheap. It's not that cheap as the other two alternatives, but you're relying on the time zone and the culture. So those will be like the alternatives. Depending on what you want is what you rather choose. It's not that the same offer will fit everyone. you just had to choose what you want more, right? It's prices, it's culture, it's time zone, wherever you want, you have an offer. That's important. You can choose.
Quantify that difference for me.
Yeah,
What does it cost in India versus the Philippines versus
yeah. I'm gonna make
Argentina?
a comparison regarding like American costs. If you hire someone in the US and you want to hire the same guy working in India or Philippines or Argentina, let's call it,
Mm-hmm.
in hiring in Argentina will make you save around 30 to 40% of your costs. Doing that in Philippines will probably get you further. You will probably be saving like 50% of the cost that you're having in the US. And if you do that in India, it's probably going to be around 60%. So there's difference. You can hire
Yep.
3 people in India by the same price that you hire someone in the US. Uh,
Got it.
it's a big jump.
But there is that big trade-off in terms of the overnight time difference with India.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas, yeah.
yeah. If you don't have an issue with the overnight, the main difference will be quality. I think if you
Mm.
don't mind people working at night, I would say that maybe Philippines and India, the main difference between those is the quality of the labor. Because of how they are organized, right? They tend to have someone that's more trained, directing more junior staff. They just make working groups or working teams, and they have one guy that actually might be good, and then they have a lot of junior and a lot of rotation. So the quality of the labor tends to be not as good as maybe what you can find in Philippines. I think that the Philippines is a good alternative too.
It's interesting how the time zone affects how firms think of their offshore relationships. Because I feel like with the Philippines, a lot of accounting firm owners and modern firms that are in Australia and New Zealand, they utilize the Philippines a lot, and it's almost like it's their team.
Yeah.
They never really say they're outsourcing the Philippines. It's like I have staff in the Philippines, but I feel like here in the U.S. it's very out. Like, oh, I outsource that to somebody in the Philippines. It's not like a teammate. But then I've talked to some firms that are doing some, in Latin America, either they're doing Puerto Rico or they're doing Argentina or Brazil. They're doing other work in South America, and they almost treat it more like a team. And I wonder how much of the time zone affects that versus this. Because if you're in the same time zone, you're not throwing it on the other side of the world. You're kind of working collaboratively more, I guess, is the theory.
Yeah. For the last couple of years, I mean, everyone went remote. So right now, having someone working, I don't know, in Phoenix or in Argentina, it kind of feels the same. The thing is, you have to have overlappings on your working shifts, because if not, it's just like sending work to be done to, I don't know, a computer and receiving it back. The overlapping of the working time is what gives you that sensation that you actually are building a team, the same as if you had them like 2 blocks away. Of course, we have accents. It's not exactly the same, but it's that. So the same happens with Philippines. If you are working in Australia, they're working on their daytime. So the entire shift that you're going to be working, they're going to be a phone call away. You don't have to just leave them an email and hope for them to read it when they wake up. I think that's a huge difference.
What's the quality of the accounting talent pool in Argentina?
Actually, I'm of course I'm biased, right? Because I'm from here. I don't know if you know much about Argentina, but living in Argentina is quite a challenge regarding economics. Not just a struggle regarding the economic situation of each of us. It's a struggle because laws tend to change a lot in here, especially taxes and accounting. We have inflation, a lot of inflation. So all our accounting has to be adjusted by inflation, for example. So every accountant in Argentina is very well trained on reskilling themselves daily. So what that causes is that the quality of the professionals in Argentina is actually quite high because of our problems, right? It's not that something that we're proud of, but it's the outcome. The outcome is that if you learn how to navigate through Argentinian economy, Argentinian accounting, you tend to be very good because you have to reskill yourself every day.
You have to be adaptable just
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
by.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
that tends to create very good professionals. The other thing is in Argentina, for example, we don't have bookkeeping done by people that are not CPAs. So all the accounting is done actually by CPA. So sometimes we find ourselves sending CPAs to do bookkeeping, and the quality of their labor tends to be very good because actually they've been doing that professionally for years in Argentina, and it's not actually a labor opportunity in Argentina to do that if you're not a CPA. So that gives you also a good base of studies that are behind each people that you hire in here. And accounting is actually the second most popular profession in Argentina. The first is we have a lot of lawyers in here, and after that, accountants are number two. So I think that you're facing right now a kind of a small crisis regarding the career choice. We don't have that here. Actually, we were producing accountants each year, so that's interesting. It's actually a very interesting trend that we have regarding you.
Yeah, maybe we need to learn something from what Argentina is doing here in the States. What to what do you attribute this success? Why is accounting so popular?
I actually don't know, because Argentinian accountants complain a lot about their job. I mean,
well, maybe that's just global. We like to complain.
So, but we are always complaining because of new regulations and all that. So I don't know if by seeing an Argentinian CPA is something that you just want to be them. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but it's an interesting question. Actually, I don't have an answer for that.
Well, you said that bookkeeping is done. You have to be a CPA to do bookkeeping. So I imagine there's strong protections around the work. Like you have to be licensed to do accounting work.
You have to be licensed to do anything that a CPA could do, but that's not only taxes. It includes accounting. So in here, all the accounting is signed by a CPA. So you had to have a legal signature to be able to prepare the accounting. And in order to have that signature, you have to be a CPA. So there's, I mean, you can have employees doing part of the work, but most of the work is done actually by CPA, or by CPA students. So
I think that's our answer, which is that to do accounting work in Argentina, you have to be a licensed professional, whereas here you don't. And so a lot of people are choosing not to become CPAs in the US because of that. Because I could still be an accountant even if I'm not a CPA.
You can do part of the accounting work without being a CPA. In here, you just can't, and there's a lot of work. I mean, I don't know if that necessarily means that it's super profitable to be a CPA in Argentina, but you will never run out of work because
job security.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, David.
I was going to ask about. So you keep throwing out the letters CPA.
Yeah.
So can you speak to like governing body? Are they taking the same test? Like
yeah, it's different. It's not the same certification as the US. It's different, but you have to be certified in Argentina in order to be able to work as an accountant. I mean, that's a legal requirement. Not everyone fulfills that requirement, but I would say that 90% of the people that are actually doing this profession are certified. The rest of them maybe are part of a firm or something that they just make the work. They just take the work, but they don't sign anything. So maybe they're not certified. But for most of us, we're all certified in Argentina. The process is different. It's not that you need to give a different exam other than the one that you already made when leaving the university. Accounting is a 5-year career in here. So once you you end up that career, you are allowed to just certify yourself. You don't have to give a different exam because you already did it
Yeah.
in the career. There are recertifications, which means that you have to make courses and all that, or you can do postgraduate courses. But in order to just do the basic stuff, with that certification, you are already ready to start working.
Mm. So you were introduced to us by Michael Lee,
Yeah.
the founder and CEO of Reconciled, and he partners with your firm. It's South Offices, right?
South Offices. Yeah, that's it.
He partners with your firm, South Offices, to do accounting work for his clients. Tell us about how you work with Reconciled. Like, let's take it like a case study. How does it work?
Okay, I met Michael like 2.5 years ago. He and I are both members of Vistage. That's like a kind of a networking company that it's both in the US and in Argentina. So we met through the network, that network. And he wanted to start trying nearshoring. So he didn't went for offshoring at first. He just went to nearshoring. So he was looking for alternatives. He hired us, and he hired, I think, like 5 other companies, all at the same time. So he really made an investment on searching which one was the best, or which one gave him the best outcome. That's something that was very interesting for me to know at first, that he was like, he went all in. He just hired one from each and just let us all show our skills, right?
That sounds like Michael.
Yeah,
that's smart.
So at first we just sent him. We made the selection here in Argentina. We use, of course, our personal network. I've been an accountant for the last 20 something years, so I have a big network in Argentina, and of course other networks that we have access to, and we make the selection. I would say that we narrow the selection to 2 or 3 candidates. We don't want to send like 10, because on the other side, I think that at first, at least, we are better qualified to know what you're looking for if you never had an experience of nearshoring. So we do want the candidates to be a fit with you culturally. So that's what you may select in the last interview. But we made the 97% of the process on our own. So once you make the selection, they start working for you. It's just like having someone working on your firm. It's the same time. They generally work at the 9 to 5 Eastern time, or maybe a little bit later if you're in Pacific time, for example. But we try to keep most of our people working 9 to 5 Eastern, or maybe 10 to 6 Eastern, because we want them to be very happy with the place they're working with. We don't want rotation, as we know that's a big issue with Philippines, India. We want to be different. So we want to respect the time zone that we have here, which we think is very compatible with yours. Everyone works remotely. They work from home. We don't have offices, because that's another thing that we did a lot of benchmarking. I mean, we tried and learned how other companies were doing this, and what things were working and what things weren't. So one thing that tends to increase a lot the rotation is having all the people in the same place, because of commuting. People don't like being in a booth, a small booth. They want to work from home. After 2020, they all want to work from home. That's a big trend in here. So they started working for him after that initial selection, from their own places at the same time as Michael's team. And once he tried everyone and started to just pick the best companies, he decided to go all the way with us. Right now we have, I think, like 7, 8 people working with him.
Wow,
So
that's fast.
it's been a nice trip so far.
Yeah.
And they just work as anyone else in their company. They have the same opportunities. They have the same career. They have the same career path. The first the first hire he had 2 years ago is now a manager, for example, and he hired her, is Florencia her name, to be the lowest level. Then he upgraded her to a senior cast, and now she's a manager, and she has been a manager for quite a bit, and there is making a successful career. We try to always to hire people that are a little bit above what you're looking for, because if they are going to start to work for another country, that has challenges itself. I mean, they probably need to retrain their English. Maybe they need to. Each person is different, right? But you probably have some kind of pain point when there's something that is gonna be a small struggle for you at first. So we want that the technical stuff is there, and that we want that not to be an issue. So we always hire a little bit above what you're looking for. So the transition at first is very smooth. But the problem with that is afterwards they want to grow because they are kind of overqualified. So it's always good to have that conversation when you start working with a company. Hey, do you want someone to be doing the same work for all their lives, or you want someone that's gonna want to grow? If
So
yeah, sorry.
I know.
Go ahead.
So it feels like more of a less outsourcing. And it's really I'm just hiring a remote employee.
Yeah, it's mostly the same. The idea is that both the company and the employee don't feel the difference on terms of what they can actually get by hiring someone in the US or by hiring someone in Argentina. It has to be a seamless difference. I mean, I think that's the best approach for us, because it's what makes all the parts of the conversation happier. You can have someone, you can train them, they're gonna stick with you for a long time. The employees are gonna be happy because they have a career ahead. So that helps with the rotation, helps with training, helps us make a more tempting offer to the candidates, and helps us get the best ones that are out there. We can compete with big companies from Argentina with our offers. So we are actually getting the best candidates out there. So it's interesting for everyone. That's the idea.
Nicolás, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your
Please.
expertise and your time with us. For our listeners who want to learn more about South Offices, they can go to southoffices.com. Nice, easy URL there. That's southoffices.com. And I hope, Nicolás, to get to meet you one day. I told Michael that next time he goes to Argentina, he's got to bring me along.
Yeah, it will be very, very nice to have you here. So
yeah, it sounded like he had a lot of fun on his trip.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Awesome. I look forward to it. Thanks, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.